the heck?
What was that?
What was that?
What is that?
She matches. Not yet. Keep going.
But I know you from somewhere.
Hey guys. Hey guys. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Jackie Aina. Welcome. So the other day, I'm scrolling, doing my thing, drizzle, and I come across a video that PatrickStarrr did with Makeup by Ariel. So if you aren't familiar with Makeup by Ariel Tejada is a makeup artist based here in Los Angeles, California. Probably seen him on the gram. He's actually really talented. I saw his video that he did with Patrick. This video is about an hour long, by the way, and I like long videos, but damn. I saw the time frame, and initially I was like, that's a long time to sit through. But then I don't know, I was just like, okay, well, what else is you doing? Nothing, so just shut up and watch the video. I started watching it, and I do have to be honest, it was the first time I really saw Ariel in action. It's the first time I've ever seen his work like that in depth ever. Because I've been doing makeup professionally for well over a decade, almost 15 years now on myself and professionally, rarely do I walk away feeling like, wow, you just put me on something, I've learned something new. I sat there watching every minute. I could not miss a beat of this video. So I thought I have to recreate this. And then, I just recently did a collab with Makeup by Mario. So needless to say, I've been kind of like soaking in. So needless to say, I've just really been enjoying trying new things, trying new techniques here on my channel. So I figured, why don't we just do that today? We already know Ariel is talented, but when you watch this video, you really get to see like why he has his own signature, what separates him from other makeup artists. I just really was just inspired to play and sit down and practice some of those techniques on myself, on my channel for you guys. And before we get started, if you think you're gonna go any further without subscribing, baby, you thought wrong. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join the Jackie Aina family so you can be notified when we have new uploads. They're not that frequent, but hey, I'm trying. Give me a break, I'm trying, okay?
So right here I was starting at the very arch of the top of your brow, but then like you'll see when I start the other brow, I might go in at the lower portion of the brow. I work at it like a puzzle, so it's really, you kind of have to gauge where you need the most brow product.
Mm-hmm. You are also shaping my brows with a little switchblade, girl.
Oh yeah, I usually take a little blade. This is not something you should try at home, but I take a little blade and I kind of like shape it as if I was like shaping the actual brow, but I'm shaping the pencil because I want to give that look as if you just got your brows like freshly waxed or freshly plucked, whatever.
The first thing that I'm noticing is that I don't normally do brows first, and if I do brows first, I'll have some type of complexion on my skin, and I feel like the brow product is like mixing in with the oil on my skin and giving me harsher lines, sort of in a good way, and my brows are really thick. I didn't realize they were that thick. Ooh. So the next step is taking the blade, I'm scared, and shave off some of the pencil to shape. I actually use a razor a lot for my brows, and normally what I like to do is when I don't want to shave off something accidentally, I'll completely cover it with my finger. But you know what? By golly, I don't want to take off my brows, so I don't know if I can use the finger block method, and I also want to see what I'm doing. So let's just give it a shot. Oh, that's definitely doing something. Oh, wow. Oh, that's cool. I wonder if you can go upwards. I'm not gonna put a question mark where God put a period. Let me stop. So let me just demonstrate that on this side. Hopefully you can better see. Because that part was a little high, so I wanted to go straight into that area first. I'm kind of here for it. I mean, you have to be really precise, and also in the video, he says brows takes him 45 minutes. I don't know about y'all, I don't got the time. Okay, there's a lot of things I'm willing to commit to. 45 minutes just on brows per beat ain't one of them. And I think you have to kind of pick at it a couple times to do this. Yeah, you definitely gotta kind of go at it a little bit. What I witnessed is that he went from one slightly lighter color to a darker color here, so it kind of has a gradient effect. I'm gonna take a bit of a highlight under my eye first. To me, this looked like cream. I could be wrong, but like I can kind of tell the way that he's manipulating the products, what's cream, what's liquid. So it looked to me like this was cream, and using a flat brow brush, I'm going to start etching away away at the bottom of the brow. I really wish I did not apply that much pencil. I think I just got a little excited. And then towards the inside, go slightly darker and start carrying it across. That already, wow. That already looks different to what I normally do. I'm gonna go back to my skin tone color because this is just like way too much arch, and I'm gonna chisel away at some of that, thin her out. Ooh, I like.
And then I'll take a darker shade, something more similar to your natural skin tone, to apply that on the lid.
Ariel, after highlighting the brow bone, he does something that I notice a lot of professional makeup artists do. They will make the cream powder kind of act as like the blueprint of what they want to put underneath shadow. So for example, normally we would jump right into the eyes with like a crease color, like a darker, fleshier tone, transition shade, but they do that with cream first. So I'm gonna take my Danessa Myricks bronzer. This is a cream bronzer. The shade that I use is Deep 2, and the important thing about this step is everything should kind of flow. So the color palette that you would use to shape the face should also reflect in your eyes. Like, it kind of makes sense, right? I actually started doing this too a little bit when I saw Mario doing this. He does this as well. I feel like it just makes the entire look so much more cohesive. What you see on the face coordinates with the eyes, and so on and so forth.
Now I'm using like a synthetic blending brush. This brush allows me to, you know, apply like that cream concealer under the brow bone to highlight. I use a darker concealer shade, and this I use to create that natural transition where it looks almost like your natural discoloration, but just prettier.
I forgot. He sets the brows with powder. I'm a little nervous about this part. I don't normally like the way that looks, but I'm gonna give it a shot anyway. My guess is that he probably did not use very much product for this step. It appears to me as if that's what he did. So I'm gonna take a little bit of translucent powder. Swish, swish.
This is my lucky brush, you guys. This is one of my favorite brushes in my collection. This really does like allow to like set and seal the deal without disturbing anything.
So not only did he set the brow, but he also set the lid, and you can see it kind of naturally lightens and adds a natural looking lid color. Oh, wow. You know what this reminds me of? Do you guys remember Sonia and Fiza? The buffing technique? What they would do is after finishing a full face, they would go over their entire face with a face brush and some setting powder and just buff and buff and buff. This is kind of, to me, giving the same effect. It's really kind of making everything look airbrushed and blown out, and it looks really nice. It did take off some of my brow, but I guess that's intentional because Ariel says he likes this to kind of cool the brow down, make it look a little bit more natural, not too standoutish. Makeup is really funny. It's like you put on all this product to take it off, to put it on, to make it look less noticeable. It's like, what do you want? But this is cool. Wow, I'm actually not mad at that. It definitely does take away some of the brows. So I'm now glad that I went a little bit darker. I thought I was gonna regret it, but now I'm glad I did go as dark as I did with my brows, because otherwise it would have been brow error 404 not found. I'm very tempted. To still add more pencil, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna do it Ariel's way and keep my hands to myself.
You're transitioning here?
Now I'm using my transition shade, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but I tap the front of the brow so that shade just like flows into the brow and starts my nose contour. So you'll see later on, it's what I'm doing right now. I'm blending it on the sides of the nose so that when I do his nose contour, it all just flows together and is like one cohesive thing.
But my eyes were closed the whole time, and I didn't want to look so I can watch it back.
So this next step is something that I've done before, taking your transition color, which is now product. We're now moving on to shadow. I'm using the Supreme Nudes from Artist Couture. Instead of just applying in your crease, you're actually gonna start at the head of the brow and start moving backwards. My brows are literally like, this really actually did soften the hell out of my brows, like a lot.
Like, you pretty much do the whole nose
On the
in
side,
the beginning,
yeah.
and you don't touch it for like the rest of the video. I'm like,
No.
how did he do that? It's like such
I
a
only
unique
touch
process.
where I need to like touch while I'm doing makeup, so everything has its moment.
And you have like the lightest touch. I was literally just trying to enjoy. The reason why I wanted to do this format is to just really enjoy the makeup process with you and like catch up, because our careers have just blown up in different ways. You as a celebrity makeup artist, me as an influencer, now having my own brand, and you with your collaboration with Morphe.
This looks really good. It's like, you know, something's different, but you're not quite sure how. I tend to just kind of like throw on my shadows and the blend is there, but I don't detail as much as this looks. I think it's a combination of setting it with the translucent powder, which is not always something that I do. And I think there's something going on here, whereas I would normally do this with cream first and then shadow. The fact that I just went in with shadow is just making this look really soft and delicate and really, really pretty. And I did drag it down quite low. I am gonna clean that up a little bit earlier, and Ariel shows us a technique on how we can do that as well. I think the key element with Ariel's technique is that no product is standalone. So you may use what's also gonna go on your cheeks, on your eye. What's also gonna go on your lip, you may have a similar color story on another part of the face.
You actually have a crease. That's so crazy. I always think about it now watching, like even more so. We barely applied like a crease color and it's already like coming together. Now I'm using like a more like flat precision like blending brush, and I'm going into his crease with a darker color from his palette. And this is allowing me to like really start to create that shape of his crease. I could have left it at this. Sometimes when I'm doing Kim's makeup or Kylie's makeup, this is really as far as we will go. And this is enough of a crease, even for Patrick, really. I think we took it a step further, and now I'm taking a more precise like pencil brush and really.
Now I'm going to go darker. We're still working in the brown family. Sorry, I didn't mention that earlier. This is very flesh toned. So if you are light, if you're medium, if you're dark, if you're deeper, it's pretty much the same technique. That's why I've been loving soft glam lately. I don't need to run out and buy a bunch of duochromes that I otherwise would not have been able to recreate unless I have them. I can use what I got. You can even do this with creams. You can do this with like face products, powder face products. So what I noticed that Ariel did was he started along the lash line by mimicking, you know, like an eyeliner, and then he starts blending well into the crease. And I've also noticed that rather than just going in heavy-handed, he builds a little bit of color at a time. And this is why it probably takes him, like, I think they said it took them 6 hours to film this. That's a long freaking time, girl. But you know, the little bit that you use and work your way up, child, like the more control that you have, and you can just like really see exactly what you're doing, why you're doing it, how it's shaping and morphing parts of your face. And I'm already, oh my God, he's so right. As he was doing this stuff on Patrick, he was like, I could actually just end it there. And now I see exactly what he's talking about. I could totally just walk out. I mean, not like this. Like I would never wear this much shadow and like leave it as is, but I could see this as its own standalone eyeshadow look because I already have a lid color. It's really delicate. It's really pretty and soft.
Brush and really getting in there to create more definition.
And you guys will see all the brushes are on the screen, so definitely check them out. I think it's really cool how each of the brushes have a.
So now using a pencil brush. Dose of Colors just sent me a bunch of new brushes. I didn't even know they had brushes. Thank you, Dose of Colors. And yes, I put them in a cup. Mind your business. I'm gonna take the Dose of Colors pencil brush and just define the areas of my crease. Ariel pointed out a really, really good point while he was doing Patrick's eyes, and that no matter what eye shape you have, hooded, monolid, deep set, everybody has a crease. And one trick that I used to do when I was doing makeup on other people, my crease is clearly defined, but like when I'm working on a client who maybe wants to create a crease, what I would do is I would actually take my brush, a brush just like this one, like the pencil brush, and girl, please don't poke your client. Okay, please don't poke your client, damn it. I would actually feel for the shape of their eye socket. That's exactly where I would start building my shadow. Everybody has a crease, like I'm telling you, you can fake one. Literally on every eye shape. I've done this technique on literally every eye shape. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking that pencil brush and that darker color and just really defining that darker brown.
You gave me like a whole new ass crease, and the brows are just to die for.
This is not really rocket science, but as soon as you find your crease, which everyone does have one, but a lot of people do have a hooded eye. And I think that's where you kind of have to play a little bit and find where you want your crease to be so that you can fake it. I would recommend like keeping your eye open in that case and like trying to find where you want to map it out.
And now around the edges, I'm just gonna soften that out so you can see a bit more of a chiseled eye now. And now this is the fun part. Seeing him cut Patrick's crease was, I don't know why, like so therapeutic for me. Now he did do a little lifting, and the concealer shade that he used was not that light, but it was noticeably lighter than Patrick's skin tone. I'm gonna do the same. And I'm gonna take a flat brush that's also round.
But here, what's different about my cutting the crease and yours is that I have the biggest brush to cut my crease just because I just want to get it done.
And I'm over here so detailed.
I can't even see the fucking bristles on the brush. This is the tiniest brush.
So this brush is actually like my precision like smudging brush, but it's so flat and thin that it allows me to also cut the crease with this.
This, by the way, is a cream product. And I think that matters because liquid and cream, the difference in how quickly they spread is night and day. And for a step that requires so much stillness and so much detail, I would recommend using cream for this step.
And I could do this with powder, or I could do this also with creams, which is what we're doing now.
It was cream. I didn't realize he called that out.
Yeah, you guys can tell I took my time here. I really tried to like sculpt it out as well as I could. I take little baby steps.
Like you can see, we're literally not talking here because he wants to like be in the moment.
This part of the makeup was so stunning for me. The shape that he gave Patrick's eyes was just this really cylindrical. It just really was this really pretty like half moon, beautiful shape, and I don't normally be doing that. I don't normally be doing none of that at all. But I think I did something. Do y'all think I did something? Yeah, you can see. You see it. Don't play with me. You see it. I also managed to use less product, and I think I went a little concealer heavy on this eye. Yeah, this one is definitely more rounded and a little bit more perfected, but it's fine. Like Rome wasn't built in a day. Now it's definitely a known thing that, and I don't know if Ariel has ever done Patrick's makeup before. I'm assuming maybe this was his first time, but it's also a thing like when you're doing someone's face for the first time, it's gonna take you noticeably longer. You have to get to know their face, their features. I already kind of know my face, so I most certainly will not be doing this routine and this look for 7 hours, but I can see why it would take Ariel and Patrick that long too, because you know, they're friends, so they're probably chatting and getting to know each other, and he's also probably naturally getting to know Patrick's face probably for the first time, if I had to guess.
This is my classic makeup by Ariel like liner. I like to pull the eye out more this way versus this way.
And you told me to keep my eyes open. If
Yes.
you guys could see right here.
That was really important to me because you're normally not looking down. Like usually when you're looking at someone, you're staring straight forward, and that changes the direction of your wing a lot of times. So right now what I was doing is I had him initially open his eyes so that I can map out where it was gonna go. And then as soon as I have that, then I can have him close and perfect the line to where I want it to be, because then you already have everything mapped out for you. And I start to fill it in before like extending the wing. I start to fill in like all the way towards like the tear duct of the eye. And I get really thin as I get to the front where it almost dissipates into nothing.
This brush right here is a part of your eye set.
Yes.
And there
Okay, this was the part, like you guys know I'm not a liquid or cream eyeliner girl. I'm not that at all. I don't like a defined line. It's not that I can't do it. It's just like, I just want it to be done in 2 seconds. And this was the first time I've ever been that intrigued by an eyeliner technique. I think probably ever. Ariel is doing a technique that we all know is like the bat wing look. And basically the eyeliner goes from like super straight to like curved up. It's kind of actually not curved upward. It actually flicks downward, and I've never been able to master this on myself, but I don't know why I feel like it's probably gonna change my life. I feel like it's probably gonna change my life, and I'm just going to move slowly and pray for the best, because I really like the fact that with eyeliner, instead of going up, he actually pulls the eyes outward. And I feel like because I have a narrow face shape, that's the most flattering on me. So I saw this and my ears were just buzzing. Like I was like, oh, this has my name written all over it. I just know this is gonna flatter my eyes. And the trick to doing this is getting Patrick to keep his eyes open. But also, when you're doing your makeup, a lot of times people are doing their makeup with a mirror down here. You need to be able to look at something straight ahead so you can actually see where the eyeliner is taking you, not only on the face, but in life. Girl, like, is she taking us to college? Is she taking us to retirement at 35? Like, what is she, where are we going with this? So that's the key. Now, Ariel does have that Inglot Liner that everybody loves, and it is really good. I'm not even gonna front, it is really good. I ain't got that, so instead I'm gonna use my Lancome liner, and I'm just gonna apply it instead of with the applicator. I put the liner on the back of my hand, and I'm just gonna take a brush and try that, because it seems like in order to get a really precise technique, you kind of have to do this with a brush. Oh, I can't do that because I need y'all. Okay, I'm gonna do this eye first so you can actually see what I'm doing. And also, he did say he uses the waterline as a guide. Like, it's supposed to look like a continuation of your waterline. I don't know if this is gonna work because this is drying up way too fast on the back of my hand. I may just need to use the applicator, but let's try. Now, I do have to close my eyes a little bit, and yeah, that brush is only gonna work so much. And now I'm just gonna try to eyeball the rest.
This brush is very special, you guys, because it's not your average or your regular angled brush. It actually swoops at the very end, and it takes the form of your natural eyelid, and then the very end of it is like a single hair brush where you could actually use that tip and create like a flick, you know?
See, this is it right here. Like, I was just like, I'm not gonna move. I think I was just sleeping with my eyes open. I was so still in this part that by the time you guys will see, it was just like pure magic. And you're using the Inglot 77.
Yes, that's my favorite.
Super
eyeliner.
Black, super waterproof. So good.
Yeah, so now I start to build the very outer edge of the wing. This also, everything I do is like a puzzle. I take my time like mapping out everything.
So, okay, talk about eyeliner angularity. Do you follow
I follow
the
this
waterline?
The lower waterline, and I try to see which direction it's going, and then I pull.
But see, it just looks, I can't explain it. It just,
Because, okay, this part of your eye sits flat, right? But then the very outer edge of your eye kind of lifts a little. I follow that line. So whatever that line is, I try to pull out that way.
Okay, now talk about the top angle. You just go straight.
Straight.
Because you know how you can go up and
Right.
then the point can go up too? You kind of went straight,
I think
like
my
across.
hand was blocking before, but yes. So when I have them stare forward, what I'm trying to see is how I can pull the eyeliner in as straight as possible, right? Because if you were to close your eyes and do this, you kind of tend to pull the eye
See,
up
you're
and
kind
wing
of
it up.
going
Yeah.
out right now. And I was like, where are you going? You're kind of going this way. But then by the time...
I'm gonna throw up. I think I did it. I think I did it. I think I bloody did it, mate. Okay, so do you see when I look down? See how she starts to go straight? Normally, in real life scenarios, with liner, you close your eye and you follow and you flick upward. Instead, Ariel draws the liner exactly with your eye in its open state. So what it ends up looking like is literally like a bat wing. I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about, but you just have to kind of see it to believe it. Okay, this isn't biblical. Like, you need to, the Bible, we lead by faith. With liner, you need to see it with your own eyes. So don't close your eye, look straight ahead, and draw over normally the parts of the eye you'd probably, like curve towards. Don't do that. Do the exact opposite. And keep that liner out instead of in. Oh my God, I think I did it. Oh! Yeah, oh my God, I did it. Okay, now let's just pray I can do this on the other eye. I don't think I got it in me. I really don't. This is one of those things that's better done on someone else. I can tell you that right now, because you can see, you tell them to keep their eye open. This is hard to do on yourself. I will give me that. This is very tricky to do on yourself, but I already like what I see. Oh, that looks bomb. From the side, yeah. Ariel Tejada, I'm not even gonna lie, this is fire. I think also something that makes this helpful is going inward as opposed to flicking outward, especially when it comes to the outer corner. Now, no matter what you want to do, try to keep your face straight forward. Don't do this. Look straight ahead and stay focused. Yeah, that's definitely what it is. It's keeping. I messed up this one a little bit, but Ariel did do concealer cleaning. So guess what I'm gonna be doing? Guess what I'm gonna be doing? The same thing.
Things to do. I'm using that same angled brush and just like perfecting the very like outer edges of it, making sure that it lines up with the outer edge of his lower lash line.
Onto the face. You are using the Secure the Blur primer. Oh, this is the foundation brush?
This is my foundation brush. This is my A24 brush. I numbered it after my mom. I know it might sound cheesy to some people, but my mom really is the foundation of my life. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be able to do any of this. Like, she was so supportive of my every step.
And you can find this in the full Morphe
signature look collection.
Perfect. And he's using this on my face. If you guys didn't know, Secure the Blur has niacinamide, witch hazel, microspheres that blur the skin. And he was like,
I was so shook with this because it's not that Patrick has a lot of texture, because really, like, you would think it is, but it's not. He has like a lot.
So applying a primer with a brush is not typically something that I do, just because time, and like I really love using my hands, but it does feel nice. I'm not gonna lie. Doing something that's just saying something. I think it definitely probably gives the illusion of more blurred skin, because you can just kind of pat it in. The same way you would like a powder or a complexion product. The brush has like this blurring and stippling property. So Ariel meant to color correct Patrick's skin, but he forgot and then went straight into complexion. So I'm actually gonna do it in the set that he normally would. I'm gonna do that first before going into foundation. And I'm going to actually take a new product. I've never seen these before. NARS apparently came out with a radiant creamy color corrector. So just dive in, you feel me? There's two, but why are these shimmery? Me no Narsisha. Okay, it's not shimmery. It just has kind of like a watery texture. I'm gonna use the darker one. This is in the shade Deep. I wish there was something in between these two. Ariel did like this octagon, big blue house looking situation. And then he also applied a bit of it under the eye. I like how watery this product is. Like, I feel like I got a lot of control. I don't normally go for something this red, but it'll do. I wish it was a little bit more peach. Something in between these two colors.
he works on women all day, and I'm just so used to using my my orange color corrector on my face, but he just went right in, which I thought was fine.
Which is fine. After this, I went in with color corrector.
Hold on. Do you see? So we've applied the color corrector here. You would normally put it underneath and then put the Pat McGrath on top.
Right. It really didn't make a difference.
So Ariel did point out he likes to use liquids first and then cream with foundation, but he said he used RCMA first and then he used Pat McGrath. So I don't know if that was a mistake on his part. Last time I checked, RCMA was cream. I'm gonna do the same and take my mented foundation stick. People are really sleeping on these foundation sticks. They're bomb. The undertones are stunning. It's one of the only stick foundation ranges that I've come across that have olive, neutral, and golden undertones for my complexion and darker. I use M20 and I also use M10. I like using M10 around the bottom half of my face. I'm not gonna lie, I do wanna set this area a little bit because I don't want that mixing in with the foundation. So M20, he did a 3-stripe boom. I'm gonna start blending that out. If it's one thing about these celebrity makeup artist react videos, I'll be taking my time, honey. I'll be like, I'm not gonna embarrass myself. It's just the chestnut richness for me in this color. I also clocked, he don't really use that much foundation. He really don't use that much foundation. Like, you don't see a drastic color difference between how Patrick's bare skin looks versus like the complexion product. So maybe I should take notes. And he does do the product, the back of the neck. He was going for the ears. And that is something that a lot of times I fail to do out of sheer laziness. I just don't have the time. And then I don't want the makeup on my clothes. Girl, like, this is Balenciaga. One thing that I'm glad that Ariel said in his video is that makeup is never going to look exactly like a match to your skin tone. Like, you can get close, but the makeup is always gonna look like makeup, period. It doesn't matter how good you blend, like, you're gonna see it. And that's kind of the point anyway, because it's makeup, like, it's called make up for a reason, not make down. Like, that's kind of the point. So with that said, it is good to cover other areas of surrounding the face, like the neck, the chest, the shoulders, especially if you know you're gonna be photographed. So it makes sense that he does that as in depth as he does. I think Ariel is just trying to tell y'all, have realistic expectations when it comes to foundations and shade matching and all of that. Like, it's never going to look exactly like your skin.
I went in with RCMA as your foundation because initially I thought I wanted to use this other brand that I used to use a lot called William Tuttle, which I still love, but it could read a little too warm, and I was already warming him up as it was, so I didn't want it to like
that eyeliner bitch is just sickening.
Thank you. I didn't want it to read orange, so I used RCMA, which is still on the warm side, but it's a little bit more neutral.
So funny, when people do my makeup, they want to match my skin, but I'm so tan on like my chest that it looks so juxtaposed, like when they see the foundation hit my skin. But it does come together once you apply like the highlight and everything.
For sure. And always, I never stop at the face. You'll see I'm always bringing it down the body because you never know what areas are going to be exposed.
Bitch, when you'll see, the bitch brought it down to my areolas. Okay.
You never know, and like foundation will never identically match your skin. It'll get close, but it'll never fully match your skin color. So I rather it all look like one.
Well, as an artist, guys, he likes to mix. But really quick, right here, you're using a darker cream to sculpt.
No, not yet.
No, this right here.
Oh, I am. Yes, I'm using my contour brush, and I'm applying a darker cream. This was actually.
Ariel also did use a bit of Pat's foundation, and this foundation it's so watery. I don't know why I decided to use the back of my hand as a palette, but I am gonna go over a little bit with that on my brush. And the good thing is, because this formula is so lightweight and watery, that it won't feel super heavy on the skin. I love this foundation. Love this foundation. We already have a great base for it, so I'm just gonna really concentrate this around the center of my face areas, and then use less and less product as I build outwards. So I am hitting the chest. She matches. Not yet, keep going. Thing is, this color corrector is really throwing me off, but we ain't done. We're not concealing yet. We are gonna contour, bronze. In my case, I'm gonna bronze.
I really enjoy doing contour before concealer because I feel like sometimes you can get carried away with applying too much concealer that goes too far out, and you don't need to. Like, the concealer doesn't need to blend out all the way this way. So I carve the face first, and then I highlight where it's needed.
I really liked how you can see that Ariel added contour or bronzer, whatever cream product that he added on Pat's face. You know that he's doing it, but you don't actually see it. Like, whereas a lot of times with makeup, you just kind of like put on a thick amount and then blend it out. He does the exact opposite. Once again, giving us way more control. I don't know if I would do that in real, like on a regular Saturday or regular Tuesday, but you know, like, I'm picking up what he's putting out. It's real effortless, it's real cute, it's real beachy, it's real natural. Okay, I feel like I applied a lot of that, like a little bit of a lot of that. I love this stuff.
Realistically, I don't like to go lighter than 2 shades. Like, I like the highlights to be like well balanced in the face.
So what I noticed about concealer is he's a one and done. He doesn't really layer. Like, I like to put on a concealer that's close to my skin tone first, and then I'll brighten it up a little bit, and then I'll blend those each individually. But instead, it looks like he either mixed them all together or just used one formula, period, and left it at that. I'm gonna mix my Pat McGrath in the shade 22, and he says that he also used a little bit of corrector and mix that in with the concealer. My corrector, because for my complexion, is usually a lot deeper. Kim would use something a little bit peachy, so I'm going to mix my Pat McGrath concealer. I really wanted to also use my Nuban Beauty concealer, but I know whatever I mix with this Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer is gonna turn bright red because it's so rich. So I'm not gonna add too much. I basically have these three, peach, and then these two are olivey. And if it's one thing that I've learned from other artists is that instead of applying with a wand, I could be for sanitary reasons, I don't know, or it could also be for more control, but they actually apply the concealer with a brush first. They brush it on even if it's liquid, even if it's cream. So first I'm gonna take a bit of my Kevyn aucoin and then dip that in Pat and then dip that in Nuban Beauty and go straight in the inner eye, just down the sides of the nose, and then taper off the closer towards the outer eye area. And what you also wanna do is just take a tiny bit and trace the outer V to clean up under the wing. You wanna take a little bit of that into your outer V to get that standout look. And I just wanna real quick blend this to see how it looks, because I'm in agreement with Ariel that like taking your concealer all the way out here, which sometimes I do get carried away with doing, I've actually noticed the closer that I keep it to the immediate under eye area, the way better it looks. It looks 10 times better. And it's also so much easier to control.
And I'm using my concealer double-ended brush to really sharpen up the edge of the liner, and then I use the other side to apply the concealer underneath.
He paints a smize
Onto the eyes.
on
yeah.
the eyes, and I realized that he made my eye longer horizontally, whereas for me, I love that bright, doughy-eyed PatrickStarrr effects on my lashes that I have.
I also forgot to do this earlier, but I noticed that Ariel blends the concealer from outward going in, as opposed to like, I don't know about you guys, normally I go straight into the middle, like the inner eye area, and then blend out. He actually does the opposite. And I think he does that because like he said, the more concealer you apply outward, the more it widens up the face. We'll be taking more notes.
That
Oh, the nose.
like
Yeah,
it just
so I leave the
stays.
highlight on there for a while so that I don't ruin the shape of the bridge of the nose. And then I also never, like you said, touch the sides of the nose where I applied that contour, and it just
See, when he left this nose right here, I was like, is he gonna blend that out?
I'm not a big nose contourer, but Ariel has a really unique way of highlighting the nose and less contouring, you feel me? He does not blend this out literally until like the end of the face. But in the meantime, let's hit that forehead. Don't think you gonna get off here scotch-free. Yep, you fall in line. I think that also gives you the chance to soften out like the head of the brow. And then we're gonna hit the cheeks with a liquid blush. I have Love from Rare Beauty. I wanna say he's using a coral on Pat. I can't really tell if it's coral or pink. So I'm gonna go ahead and use coral because the lip ultimately in this look ended up in coral, and I kind of want to follow that color family. And I'm not gonna use a lot of this shade, and I'm not gonna use a lot of blush. I ain't gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
I haven't even powdered, and the blend is just impeccable.
wow.
I don't know what hour this is, but I think we're
This
in
is
like
like hour
three.
three.
We haven't even set the
I really love applying liquid blush while the skin is still wet. It just creates this really pretty base. And then after, once you set it with powder, especially since Pat and Ariel both mentioned like how blush tends to fade really quickly on his face. People always say that, and the same thing has probably happened to me. I don't know why, I just feel like I just don't notice it. Maybe I just don't be paying attention. I don't know, maybe I should. Do I need to be carrying blush? I don't know, I just kind of put it on and then I just expect her to perform for the rest of the day. I don't be paying attention. But it is kind of interesting to see how Ariel really goes there with blush. She applied blush like maybe 4 different times throughout the technique, and blush is his signature, so it kind of makes sense that that's probably, you know, one of the areas that he puts the most detail on because it disappears so quickly. So the blush kind of starts at the apples and then he blends almost as like a continuation of the eyeshadow. And I'm sure this probably will vary depending on someone's face shape, but that's what I saw.
And I'm using Shinto 4 to contour the nose. If you can tell, it's literally almost the same exact color of his skin, but it's defining that highlight that we applied. So now you don't need to contour as much because your highlight is so lifted.
Now we're contouring the nose, but we're not really contouring the nose because he doesn't use a darker color. He used something that's closer to Pat's skin tone. I would say Cafe from NARS. I'm gonna take a little bit of concealer. I don't really have any contour products. The next best thing I have is a cream concealer, and I'm gonna take a little bit of that and just blend it off the back of my hand and start working around the edges of that highlight we had earlier. Oh, that's perfect. He started here, like at the bulb, and then started working his way up.
Once you start powdering,
That's where
the glam just like comes together.
Agreed.
For somebody who does not like contouring my nose, I like that because I oftentimes feel like doing my own makeup, my nose gets lost because I don't want to structure or change the shape of my nose at all. You guys already know how I feel about this topic. Doing that, I already highlight my nose with concealer, but cleaning it up with like a detailed brush and a concealer that matches my complexion and is just a hair darker was like, it looks so good, so that the color shading and the dimension in my skin is still there without providing the excess shaping and sculpting you often get with like extreme, because sometimes nose contouring to me just looks so overdone and extreme that like I'm just like I'm discouraged. I'm tapped out. I'm not here for this. Next, Ariel is setting powder. This is my first time using Patrick's powder. He has two colors, and I don't know why I thought I grabbed the other one, and now I can't find it. She just disappeared. I guess she just clocked out early. I guess she said, never mind, I ain't showing up to work today. But because this is quite light, I am gonna have to mix it with a skin tone color. And this is actually a technique I've seen done before. This is Patrick's translucent color. I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of skin tone color, so that basically what I get is something like this, and apply that under my eye. God, I hope this does not flop. Please don't let this flop. Please don't make this so crazy. Hit it with the sponge one more time. Apply the powder. This is meant to be the thinner. Wow, that powder, damn. I don't think Laura Mercier be looking like that. Oh, okay, I might have did something with that blend though. I might have did so. That powder disappeared. Did y'all see that? What the heck?
What was that?
What was that?
What is that?
Wow, the blurring? This one comes in a dark shade, but I thought I grabbed it for this tutorial. I can't find it. So I mixed it in with Laura just to get the color match that I wanted. Whatever I did is stunning, flawless. 5 stars, Grammy.
I'm so precise when I'm baking the bridge of the nose. I'm using like a wedge sponge and I'm just applying it straight at the bridge of the nose.
Now I'm baking the bridge of my nose and then taking that into the center of my forehead. I would actually do this with a brush because I just find this to be easier. It's a little bit trickier doing this with a sponge, but I imagine Ariel probably does this to get it to last longer. It's kind of like a scientific fact. Like if you do things with a sponge, it definitely, in my opinion, just really sets and lasts so much longer. Perfect world, I'd be doing this with a brush because I'm not gonna lie, girl. This is really, you have to have a really steady hand for this. And then you're gonna wanna take a brush and taper it towards the middle so that it gets slimmer towards the tip. Did I do it? Oh no.
And I'm mixing your translucent powder with medium 5. And this is your pressed powder from Turn Up the Base. I mixed it so that the translucent powder was skin tonal.
Also, first time trying Patrick's Turn Up the Base powders. It's called a versatile powder foundation, so I'm gonna assume it's probably got a flexible coverage, but this is one of Pat's newest releases. How Ariel applied it was by mixing the shade with translucent powder, and he used quite a bit of powder. Me and Patrick, that's one thing that we definitely have in common about our makeup routines is we powder down. Like, I love translucent powder. Pat, we see each other, girl. Like I'm right there. I see.
We went back and forth between this kind of fluffy, cotton like puff, and then the one size fabric puff.
Exactly.
But is there a purpose to using this kind of puff?
I like this kind of puff because I feel like it doesn't disturb the foundation application.
It's like a sheep.
It's like a sheep, exactly.
Classic makeup by Ariel, really quick.
Right here, this is very much me. This is like the face, the Ariel face for sure. This powdering and powdering and powdering.
Okay, so I cheated just a little bit because I don't know what happened to my powders, but I don't have the other 2 lighter ones from Pat. So I used Charlotte Tilbury's pressed powders instead. Oh wow, my face looks really pretty already. Just like the shading, the dimension. The first thing you saw me applying was shade 4. Now I'm about to apply shade 3 with a more precise brush immediately under the eye. I can't believe he did 2 foundation powders and then he baked again. We doing it for the tube.
This is like the final lock-in because Patrick gets really oily and sweaty.
Do you do this on Kim and Kylie too, like for their full glam? Do you like reinforce too, or is it just me and Nikita?
I think you and Nikita. I think I do a different level of glam that I really enjoy with you guys. Because obviously it's a different kind of makeup, you know?
Well, also my anatomy.
Damn, I thought I used a lot of powder. But Ariel bakes the under eye again. And I'm not really mad at this because I have oily skin and sometimes my problem area tends to be my under eye. So to Ariel, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little scared. I'm gonna take my sponge, I'm gonna pinch, and I'm gonna get right under that under eye like you just did. And pray for the best. As you can see, this is still cooking. That powder on the nose, I'm gonna add a little bit more because she disappeared. I have never seen anybody apply blush on the chin the way that Ariel did. So I wanted to see if he applied that with a sponge or a brush. He did actually do it with a sponge. And he kind of made this like semicircle, follow the lip shape. I'm certain this is probably unique to Patrick's face shape, but because I was just intrigued, I just really wanted to try it.
And I am buffing it underneath the lash line to create that really like diffused under eye look. This is kind of like my transition shade for the under eye. And this I bring it really low because I like to create a lot of balance and symmetry in the face.
I think I just cracked the code. I hate doing shadow on my bottom lash line. I hate it. Could be the brush because this is my first time using this brush on my under eye, but I took Ariel's advice of applying it quite low and now I feel like I can actually freaking see it. I feel like every time I apply shadow on my bottom lash line, it just feels like wasted effort. Like it just disappears, poof, be gone. But applying it much lower and also detailing it like Ariel's doing really makes me see it. Like I actually see it. It looks smoky. It feels like it has a purpose. And also my eye sees how this color family is also coordinating with this color family. It just looks really cohesive and really, really beautiful. Like in person, it looks real. I don't know what y'all are seeing in 4K because sometimes 4K is not even good enough to see how beautiful I'll be looking. You feel me? But what I see in person looks phenomenal. And I'm really, really happy with this under eye lower lash line technique. And I'm definitely gonna start being less afraid to just like really drop that shadow down. Cause I feel like, cause my eyes, like I feel like I have like a natural bug eye shape. It's called protruding. And so the under eye, like I tend to get this really puffy look, but it's my eyeball. And sometimes I'm afraid to put on too much shadow cause it looks really bulgy and obvious. But this I really, really like.
It's so crazy because I have the same philosophy too. If I want to look more like snatched, I won't go as low. But also too, for people that have like baggy under eye circles, it kind of hides that too.
I've always thought about that. I'm like, oh my God, this literally camouflages any lines that you have underneath the eye.
So Ariel is also adding a flesh tone liner. I love beige liner in my waterline, especially for a look that is this color family. Okay, this next step is gonna be a little tricky to do, like looking at y'all, and then this is hard. But he takes a black shadow. Oh, that was not that hard. He takes a black shadow super close, like pretty much apply it right in the line, like literally in your lash line. As black of a shadow you can find.
Super precise here with the black eyeshadow, Turban Legend from the Visionary palette, which I remember you kind of like sharpening.
Tightlined it,
yeah, like not in the waterline, but just like right under
outside
the lash
of the white, just to close it up a little, because sometimes the like nude could really open up the eye too much.
Okay, that is really freaking hard to do. Looking at y'all, looking at me, looking at her, like all at the same time. That's very taxing emotionally and physically.
First layer of blush. If you guys don't know, he had about 14 to 16 blushes and all I saw was
people are like, what blush does he use? And I'm just like, well, I'm using like 16.
So this is definitely a blue pink toned blush. So I grabbed Marina Beauté in the shade Terra Rouge. This is actually a bit more rosy than it is a blue pink, but I'm gonna add something more blue pink on top of it in just a second.
This is it. And this blush placement is just very
Specific.
signature.
Yes, this is very Ariel blush placement.
Okay, so I just saw him hold his nail down, like hold the bristles down with his nail. I've never seen anyone do that before. He does a lot of tapping. And also again, like he's almost kind of taking that blush into the corner of the eye. This is like hour 4 for me. I did not realize this was gonna take this long, but takeaway so far, flawless. So no complaints.
And right here, you're taking the ultimate setting powder and cutting under the cheek.
So Ariel is doing a reverse contouring, and basically what a lot of people do to sculpt the cheeks even more as kind of like a final finishing step is this. They take the translucent powder, it's usually one that's meant to be light. Now what I normally do when I'm doing this technique is I use the corners of my mouth as a guideline of where the powder ends, but Ariel actually lifts it a little bit higher. He kind of uses like the center of the mustache area as like a stopping point. So as Patrick pointed out, he does this quite high up. I don't normally do that high, but I'm taking notes. Also, I usually start at the ear and then carry it over. He starts at the center of the face and brings it upward. Don't know if that's just coincidence, intentional. I think that is also what allows you to kind of lift it a little bit more.
It's my second application of blush.
My skin eats blush.
Yes. I had to go in with like more of a neon color at some point, like an eyeshadow, which is, I also do that with everyone.
So my ears perched up as soon as Ariel said he finishes off with a neon blush, because I feel like I've seen this done before and I've never actually tried it for myself. Now I ain't got no neon blushes, but I do have a neon eyeshadow. So I grabbed this Norvina ABH collection palette and I'm gonna use this shade here. It's a bright orange and I feel like neon on dark skin just ends up really being very toned and mild. So let's try it out. Oh, so the neon doesn't look as neon as you probably like see it in your head. It just honestly, you know, dark skin eats. It really does like eat up neon colors. Like they just don't look as obvious and stand out as you probably expect them to, but it is nice.
I like to apply a thin layer of mascara. He doesn't really have much lashes, but you know, just get in there.
She's real honest today and real comfortable. She finally has a place to express herself.
So I actually, sometimes with my bottom lashes, I don't look when I apply and I hold the brush straight up and down vertically, because if it gets too gloppy down there, it just does not look cute.
I'm now tightlining his waterline. This is where I connect everything and I bring it towards like the tear ducts so that everything looks.
We need to tightline, and y'all know I don't keep black eyeliner. Oh, I have some, just kidding. So I'm gonna use, not the tip being broken, girl. Pat McGrath liners are bomb. Just give me a second to sharpen. This is hard to do when it's like already almost finished, because then you have to like damn near use half of the pencil. Girl, I think she's a lost cause. I think she's a goner. Girl, I would have been sharpening for damn near 3 years trying to get to there. Really inconvenient. Okay, I found something else, so I'm gonna go ahead and tightline. This is so hard. And I know that Ariel has already applied mascara, but I'm definitely not like a mascara until after I've applied the lash kind of girl. So I'm gonna skip that for now.
So this part was interesting because I normally don't use this big of a lash, but when you have a lot of real estate, you gotta do with what you got.
For today's look, I'm gonna apply a flare lash just because I'm really having a moment with flare lashes. I am using, these are Real Bisou from the Kiss Deluxe by Eye Envy. I forgot Eye Envy is a part of Kiss, but these are Real Bisou. One thing I definitely peeped is I did not see Ariel apply any powder bronzer or contour product. He may have done it off camera, but I didn't clock it. Y'all know I'm a huge bronzer stan. So Ariel, is there something we don't know about bronzer? Let me know. Powder bronzer specifically. Lash with this liner. It's saying something. I'm gonna line my lips, and there's really no technique that I know of, so I'm gonna line them the way that I normally would. First by sharpening it, because this is really ghetto behavior.
I really take my time with this because each step is just as important to me. And this is really like a sculpting job because Patrick does have beautiful lips, but he explained to me, which is something that is a normal thing. Nobody has two exact sides of their face. And I think one side of his lip is a lot longer and then the other one is more lifted. So like we tried to match it to make sure that it's like symmetrical. I try to keep the very center of the lip like uncovered so that when I apply lipstick there, like the pigment stays very present.
Statue, bitch.
Remember how I told y'all there are some parts of the face that are easier done on other people as opposed to done on yourself? So the concealing around the lips was always one of them for me, but I went really slow and I used a cream concealer as opposed to a liquid. And I think I did not too bad now. Go easy on your girl. Oh, I'm not done blending. Before you say anything, I'm not done blending. I don't have the same lip color, but I think this is the least like innovative part of the tutorial, so you could do this with relatively any lip color you want. So I wanted to use Nima's matte lip color from her Dose of Colors collabs, which by the way, she recently announced they are restocking. So if you missed it the first drop, first of all, I don't know why you would do that because you sleeping on a baddie. And Dose of Colors makes some of my favorite lippies. So I grabbed Zoe and then I'm gonna put a nude on top of it, Cork. I need to start tapping into my inner applying lip colors with a brush because it just, every time I do this, it always just ends up looking so pretty. So I'm applying Zoe, that brighter orange, in the middle first. This is my favorite way to make my own DIY coral nude lip. I'll start with the super bright orange first, and then I'll go nude on top of it. It's so pretty. Oh, mascara, what am I doing?
So now I'm highlighting the bridge of the nose with I think it's Fenty, and it's like, I don't know the name.
Oh
of it.
yeah, it's the champagne one.
And this part I learned from Patrick. I'm taking the highlight into the crease, like the beginning of the crease, because this kind of like brightens and reshapes that area. This is very signature of me.
Yes.
I like a gloss, but I think everything matte just reads so much more clean to me. It's a personal preference.
And even watching the last season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, like Kim's lip that you do is
Always matte.
always matte.
Mented just came out with a setting spray and I really love, I just feel like this looks so luxe. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that. It says vitamin C and E. This feels more like skincare, but we did it, Joe! I forgot all about that nose thing. I wasn't fully prepared. Let me go ahead and collect my thoughts and give you the roundup on the final look. All right, guys, that is the final look of me reacting to Makeup by Ariel's makeup tutorial, his wonderful technique. Takeaway from this is it's definitely start off with less and then build up to more. I feel like my number one takeaway is all of it. I'm definitely gonna start using less concealer. And I was kind of already on that wave, but like now more so than ever, like seeing him do it and doing it on myself definitely kind of confirmed it for me, girl. I love the way my brows look. I don't necessarily know if I'm gonna be a brows first girl just yet, but I'm not against it. I think they look really, like surprisingly, the fact that I use concealer, it does not look like your typical concealer brow at all. I love the whole translucent powder setting tip. I loved the sculpting the eyes with creams first and then doing shadow. I may even find myself minimizing like how much shadow primer that I use because I loved how he just built on top of the natural, why am I saying he like he did my makeup? He didn't do my makeup. I love the way Ariel just kind of like builds on top of like the natural shades in your complexion. Like with our eyes, we're so used to just like covering it all up because I have darker eyelids. I think now I would love to just kind of work with them because they're they're pretty. You know, I love having my different parts of my face that aren't all one color. It's actually quite nice. Embrace them. Things that I probably would not do, all of the powder, like even for me, it was a lot. And to be fair, he definitely did say like Patrick absorbs a lot of powder. Some of his other clients do take to a lot of powder because they have super, super oily skin. And I do have oily skin, but I would still minimize like maybe 1 or 2 application steps. That's just personal preference. I tend to get a lot of buildup under here. So sometimes messing with powder foundation a little too much, be doing way too much. It's just a me thing though. All in all, is this going to completely change my everyday beat face? No, but I definitely see myself using some of the tips that he shared and utilizing these in future beats because I feel like I look red carpet ready. And do y'all like how I did all that sculpting on my neck only to put on a freaking white linen shirt, white of all colors? Like, girl, what was you thinking? Anyway, I'm really happy with the way my makeup looks. I wish that I had somewhere to go and I could like actually use this. The one thing that I will change, sorry, but I need gloss, okay? I just need gloss. I also would not do the nose highlight thing. I'm just not really like a big nose highlight person. Other than that, I'm really, really happy with this look. I mean, the liner technique, wow. That one really took it home for me. I really think you guys should try this technique one day when you're feeling experimental or if you're just bored. And I will definitely not be razoring my brows for every application, but I see what he's doing. Like, I like the look. I think maybe for like a special occasion, you know, some special, something for the Grammy red carpets. I think you guys should try this makeup look. What do you guys think? Do you think this is noticeably different from how I normally do my makeup? Or do you feel like, oh, okay, it's kind of the same but different, you know, like, or do you think I look like a completely different person? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Would you try this? Yes or no? If not, you should. I definitely think you should. One day, if you're bored, you got the time, try Ariel's technique and watch the entire video. I'm telling you, there's so many gems in that video. And thanks, Patrick, for just allowing him to come on your channel so we can all learn. Thanks, guys, for joining me on today's video. I really hope you had fun and enjoyed. If you want to watch another one, I'm horrible at linking future videos, but it's the thought that counts. I'm gonna link it right here. And by the way, let's try to get Ariel on the channel. I already DM'd him. Ariel, please check your Instagram DMs. I want to see you do some glam on here. I'm trying to do more collabs, so if you're down, let me know. You know where to find me. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.